Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over my experience doing a 72-hour fast. So just a few reasons. First off, on why I wanted to do this fast. I've read a lot about fasting and the health benefits of it. And then I was recently, for maybe a month or two, feeling kind of sluggish, more tired. I wasn't really enjoying my gym workouts as much. So I just wanted to try this out to see how it goes. I've previously done intermittent fasting for quite a long time. That's where you only eat for about 8 hours out of the day, so you're fasting for that 16-hour period. So I was a little bit knowledgeable and had experience with fasting, but not for prolonged periods of time. So with this fast, I kind of followed, read a book with Tim Ferriss, and he kind of outlined how he fasts. So what we started with is mainly just drinking water. That water had Himalayan salt in it, just a little pinch, and then a little bit of lemon just kind of squeezed into it just to give it a little flavor and some little nutrients in there. So that's kind of why I started it. There's lots of health benefits for fasting, especially for prolonged periods of time. A lot of them include helping with your gut, because you're allowing your gut to heal itself, because it's not having to work. It's not going through all that digestion constantly throughout the day. So you have that time where it's able to heal itself, so you decrease inflammation. So it does help with your gut health. The other one of the more important things is something called autophagy, which has to do with, hold on one second, has to do with where the body kind of repairs itself, cleans out all the old kind of debris, cellular debris, fixes and repairs structures. They've done studies and they found that mice in a controlled environment obviously lived longer when they actually fasted them compared to mice who weren't fasting. They do find that this autophagy hits its peak kind of around 48 to 72 hours, which is why I wanted to fast for that extended period of time. You can get the benefits of it from shorter fasts, like intermittent fasting as well, but it's kind of peaked out at this 48 to 72 hour time frame. And then it also has other benefits like increases your growth hormone, also helps with insulin sensitivity and things like that. A couple other things that I liked about it is a lot of mental fortitude, so just being able to control kind of your hunger, just the mental fortitude to say, no, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to keep going, especially if you work someplace where there's access to lots of free food. As a therapist, coworkers, patients, a lot of people bring in food, so it's a little challenging from that perspective. And then just your appreciation of food. After you're done fasting, you kind of appreciate food a little bit more. You also, in my opinion, kind of learn to control your hunger a little bit more and control kind of what you feel like you need to eat. So the process of it started on, I ate dinner the night before. Ideally, I would have eaten around 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock for dinner. And started my fast then. There's some circumstance I had to eat a little bit later, so I ended up eating about 8 o'clock. Woke up the next morning, was my day off. Went on a long, about 2 hour long hike on a little trail and then onto the beach. Hey everybody, today is day one of the 3-day fast. Currently we're going on a nice long walk first thing in the morning, get everything going, really get into that ketosis state. We're drinking some water. It's got Himalayan salt in it and lemon to keep up the nutrients, and we'll see how it goes. I did weigh myself at the start of each morning. It was just a scale of body fat percentage and stuff, so not super accurate, but just give me something to track. I started out at 167 pounds, 17.6% body fat, and 45.3% muscle mass comparatively. The whole process of this wasn't necessarily to lose weight or lose fat or anything, but I just wanted to monitor that. On day 2, when I woke up, not really feeling too great on day 2. Ideally, would have been able to sleep in late to kind of increase that fast where I was asleep. But I had to wake up early to train some clients. So I woke up, I was feeling pretty cold and just kind of weak. Tim Ferriss does recommend you take some fat, so either coconut oil or MCT oil, just a tablespoon. He says you can take up to 4 tablespoons. I wanted to try to not take any, but since I wasn't feeling good, I took that tablespoon. After about an hour or two, started feeling better. I was a little tired throughout the day, but overall felt fine. Got to make sure you're drinking lots of water throughout this whole process to stay hydrated. So that is very important. But overall, day 2 wasn't too bad. As the day went on, I did start to feel better. But no real, I wasn't dying for food or anything like that. When I weighed myself on day 2, I dropped down to 162, so about 5 pounds or so. 16.6% body fat, so about 1% body fat down, and 45.8% muscle mass, so up a little bit. I tried to weigh myself as consistently as possible, as in I would wake up, use the restroom, no fluids or eating obviously, and then I would weigh myself. The 5 pounds was probably a lot of just water weight from not having any food intake. So that was that. Day 3, I had to wake up really early for work, so I woke up at 5 a.m. I went to bed early that day, and I actually woke up feeling great. Nothing like day 2. I felt energized, felt fantastic. Weighed myself, I was 159, 16.1% body fat, 46.1% muscle mass. So through this whole kind of 3-day process, total body weight's gone down, body fat percentage gone down, and the muscle mass has gone up. More so just because the body fat percentage has come down. Wasn't doing a whole lot of working out, more just doing some mobility work, active mobility stuff, walking, things like that. That night, after the 72 hours was up, I had a nice big meal, mostly protein and fat, very little carbs, which I'll talk about in a second. But felt great, didn't have any issues from not eating for those 3 days. Didn't really need to, just eat bone broth or anything like that to ease back into it. Ate a full big meal, felt perfectly fine. Day 4, I just tracked, so that'd be the morning after the fast. I just tracked my weight again to see what happened after I did eat that food, see if my weight would go immediately back up. But it actually kept going down, so I was 157, 15.6% body fat, and then 46.4% muscle. So it did continue kind of to go down. One of the main reasons of fasting is to get into that ketosis phase, which ideally, if you can get into that phase by fasting, which is one of the easier ways, is going to help to burn the fat stores, not really use carbs for energy because you don't have really any carbs in your system. So just focusing on that fat stores. But overall, wasn't that bad. The food aspect of it, I realized that I really like food. So I was just wanting to eat food, not that I was really hungry, but I would see something like that looks good, I want to eat it. But overall, not too bad. I have found since that I've had a really high boost of energy. I wake up feeling better. My gym workouts are way better than they were for that month or two. So I was really excited about that. It's a really cool thing to try. If you haven't done any type of fasting, I recommend just trying intermittent fastings to start, or even just a 24-hour fast. I have recommended that for several people, and they've tried that without any issues. So what I'm doing now since the fast is I've continued on intermittent fasting. So I stop eating around 8 o'clock at night ideally, and then I start eating again at 12, so about lunchtime. Most of my meals are primarily more high protein, high fat, and low carb. So usually a lot of greens, things like that to go with my protein, not so much necessarily carbs like rice or anything like that. I will have occasional meals where I'm eating that, so I've kind of decided to go not such more as keto, but more of kind of like carb cycling. So I have certain days of really low carbs and certain days where I eat more higher carbs. And that's more so just so it's a lifestyle rather than a keto diet. I know there's gonna be days where I go out with friends or I want something that has a lot of carbs like pizza or just something that I feel like eating. So on those days, I prioritize more high carbs. So that way I can continue this. So it's more of a lifestyle change and not so much of I'm going to do this diet really strict. And then once I get tired of it or can't handle it more, I'm just going to stop. Primarily this was because I like sweets. So I wanted to kind of get away from that. So I wasn't eating as much sweets or carbs. And it's been working out great. I feel great. The body fat has primarily stayed off that I lost kind of during that fasting period. My body fat stayed a little bit lower, and I'm feeling great overall. So a little bit more about intermittent fasting if you guys don't know about that. Like I said, you fast for 16 hours a day, rest for 8 or eat for 8. Similar as the overall fasting for your gut health, in that it's really going to help give your gut a break every day, which allows, you will find that your stomach feels better. If you have stomach issues, your gut just has less inflammation overall. Your growth hormone is your highest when you wake up in the morning because of your sleep. And your insulin is also the lowest, which is what you want. Once you eat carbs, or eat anything really, but mostly carbs, that insulin level is going to go up and that growth hormone is going to go down. So by prolonging the time before eating, you're going to keep those growth hormones higher, you're going to keep your insulin lower. It's good for diabetes. If you're trying to gain muscle mass, lose fat, anything like that, those hormones are perfect for that. Also, when you're intermittent fasting, you're eating that 8-hour window, so you're eating a little bit more consistently in that 8 hours. So your insulin level will go up, but it's going to maintain that throughout the 8-hour period, where when you eat a big meal, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, your insulin spikes up, slowly comes back down because you're not eating anything, spikes up, comes back down, and spikes up. But you don't want those spikes because those can be bad for you, especially if you have diabetes and things like that. One little caveat to fasting, you want to make sure you still have that high protein and fat, low carb meal before you start your fast, like the last meal. This is not just if you don't do that, but just overall. My wife was fasting as well with us, and she experienced what they call a hypoglycemic headache, which can be very painful. If you do find that you're getting a hypoglycemic headache, all you want to do is take some protein. I gave her a hard-boiled egg. After about 5-10 minutes, it went away. So if you are experiencing that, that is something you can do. Overall, though, great experience. My plan is to do my intermittent fasting, and then I'm going to do a prolonged fast, so 48 to 72 hours, about once a month. So that's what I'm going to be continually doing. Once again, I recommend you try fasting, not the 72 hours if you haven't fasted before. Start with maybe 24 and work your way up. I think you'll experience some great benefits from it overall. But definitely try it out. If you guys liked this video, press the little like button below. Any comments or questions you have, you can put them in the section below, and make sure you guys subscribe so you can keep up with our next videos. Thank you.